Hello, Eric Brown and Cosplay again here. An update on a lightsaber I'm building for my my friend Erica. This is the Ventress lightsaber. Here's the front, and then we've got the sides of the thing, and a little piece that goes inside here, like yo. Look, the little hole for the button and the channel, so that the button doesn't hit that, and that's where the lightsaber tube goes. Now, you can see the inside completely hollow. One thing about 3D printing is the orientation in which you print the object determines a lot on how well it's going to come out. This object was actually printed flat, like this. So there's only a little bit of support material between these ridges, which is why you can see some goobers right here on the sides. Right there and there. Some along the sides here. That's because it needed to put a little bit of support in to hold the part that overhangs thin air. Okay, because it overhangs thin air, you need to have a little bit of support material. Also, one thing to consider: tolerances. This and this were printed off two different printers. Problem is, they don't quite fit. You know, they are just fractions of an inch off. The two 3D printers we're using are an Ultimaker and a PrinterBot, and the Ultimaker prints beautifully. Our PrinterBot seems to be stretching things a little. Some of the things I noticed that were printed, they were a little bit longer than they were supposed to be. Oh, I forgot to mention, this piece is what holds the tube. You can see the two little teeth right there. The tube, in theory, would have two holes drilled through it, so when you put it through, this would grip onto it and hold it. I'm actually going to have to take this and redo this slightly because I kind of realized that ABS doesn't flex that much. Or not ABS, PLA. So while I can get it to pinch in a little bit, I can't get it to spread, not without breaking it. So I got to redo this piece a little bit. You know, these are all things that you do when you 3D print. You experiment, and you screw up, and you print it again. Then you screw up some more, and you print it again. So one other thing in here, tolerances. Even on the same printer, make sure you leave tolerances. This is a cowl that fits over it. This hides these holes. These holes hold a magnet and a screw. The magnets hold the cowl on, and the screws hold these together. I'll show you that in a minute. Problem is, I don't know how or why, but that thing is not lining up right there. Whoops. Not lining up. If you can see that right there. This part right here, for some reason, this cowl isn't long enough. So I need to stretch it out a little bit more in the 3D program and print it again tomorrow. And hopefully that'll fit better. Also need to make a little bit more of a tolerance adjustment on it too, so that it doesn't fit quite so snugly over that, because I'm going to have to cover these in the smooth-on epoxy coating stuff for 3D print. So I want to make sure I have enough tolerance, enough wiggle room. That's what tolerance is in layman's terms. Wiggle room to get this on and off smoothly. So you know, there's all these little things you have to do. So on to the main body. These were 3D printed off of our PrinterBot. Now the PrinterBot did some weird stuff. If you look at this one, see that rounded edge? You can see right here these things don't line up. That's because the x-axis slipped and it moved over and started printing this over here instead of over here where we're supposed to. So this one's kind of goofy, but it's together enough that I'm able to check the placement of these holes, and because this one was actually printed flat like this, so it's printed flat. The second piece we printed at an angle kind of about like that. Now it kind of did some weird stuff here on the sides, some weird little goobers and overhangs, but it printed off much more smoothly in terms of you know, seeing this whole rounded corner. Now the way this goes together there's some little pegs here on the inside of these, which will actually have magnets in them, so I'm not too concerned about the texture inside. If anything, that's more to glue against. I will have to smooth up these edges because this is where all that support material was to hold it up. Because you know, it wouldn't have enough to adhere to the surface of the 3D printing plate, so I'll have to do a little cleanup on that. But anyway, this is meant to be hollow. You know, I could have made this as a big brick, but it's meant to be hollow so I can put electronics and batteries and other stuff in there. The way this works is those little holes line up with those little pegs. So they fit together like that. Now I've got the front. Screw will go through to attach those together. Now I just have a tiny little pilot hole right there. That's just so I can enlarge it to whatever size I need, but this lets me know that both sides are lined up. So all I have to do is pop a screw through there that'll hold this together. One thing I'm thinking though is a little bit of play here on the edge, you know. So while it's nice and flat, it does have a little bit of gappiness, which I'm going to alleviate. I may want to may try and put some other kind of mechanism, you know, something similar to this, some kind of slotting mechanism. So when I slide them together, I do this kind of motion, they latch here in the middle to hold the middle together as well. So I'll be thinking about that before I print those bottom pieces again. And then in theory, this whole piece was supposed to, oops, if I can hold that together, that whole piece was supposed to stick on kind of like that. Now you also notice this ridge right here is not lined up because this is where it slipped. The last couple layers, you know, if you see from the side here, this piece was printed horizontally, so right about there, right where you see it break, that's where the slip happened and moved everything off to the side. And so the last, what was that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, probably a dozen or so layers, if you count this little bar, moved over a fraction of an inch, about, looks like 1/8 of an inch. So we're fixing that printer right now. But anyway, those go together. You end up with the lightsaber, which I think looks pretty cool. It'll look cooler once it's all assembled and painted and you know, has a lightsaber tube in it. Ideally, one thing I want to do is try and cast this in metal with aluminum. I'm not quite sure on the safety of that. I've been looking at a lot of lost PLA casting sites and whatnot, and it is possible. You know, sand molts and all that other good stuff. That's another whole series of podcasts. But for right now, I just wanted to show you guys some progress on the lightsaber. So there you go. That's progress on the Ventress lightsaber. I didn't print out the button. There is a button that goes right there, which would be clear and lights up when depressed. But still, ideally that all fits together better. But that's there's some Ventress lightsaber action for you. All right, thanks for watching. You can always find me on Facebook at Eric Browning Cosplay or on Twitter, EB Cosplay. Really just copying my Facebook stuff. But either way, you can connect to me lots of different ways. So thanks for watching.